I would be embarrassed right now if I were a Green Bay Packers fan that my team had the audacity to put forward a proposal to stop a team from running this play because nobody else can stop it and we don't like it.
What up, RBA fam? Welcome back to the Think RBA podcast, where real ballers adjust. I'm your host, Hak, my brother Ken. Sir, give us this week's RBA rundown.
All right, on this week's episode, we are going to cover the March Madness or lack thereof, maybe, both on the men's and women's side. We talk a little NBA. You know, there were some purchases, big money purchases. Cha-ching! And we're getting playoff races heating up as well. On the NFL side, the Ovechkin tracker. Can't forget the Ovechkin tracker because he's so close.
He is close.
On the NFL side, there's been some interesting movements, rules changes, some free agency movements, and the new Netflix series is out for this summer, or was announced for this summer. And then at the end, we're going to bring in a new segment, and I'm going to save it till the end. So we're going to talk about it, but we'll add it to the rundown next week. But it's going to be a new segment, but will be a new recurring segment on the pod.
Let's do it.
So we're going to cover a lot of things today.
Let's do it.
So let's just jump right in. And before we jump into the first topic, just want to start off at the top to acknowledge and pay respects to the tragic passing of George Foreman, for sure. I was not big into boxing, and I was a little younger when he was in his prime. I don't know if you have any stories or memories or anything that you recall from his career.
No, I was a bit younger too. I didn't really see him in his prime, right? My prime was the whole Mike Tyson era.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of...
But I mean, he was the man.
Oh my God, was he the man?
He was the man in his time.
Absolutely, man. This guy, what I do know is that he probably answered the phone on probably the most lucrative business deal ever.
Yes.
Right?
So that's like the one story that I firmly recall. And as a wrestling fan, I recall it because I heard it on the other side. I heard it from the side of Hulk Hogan, which was that Hulk missed a phone call from his agent, and he was basically being pitched two products. One was a blender, like for protein shakes and stuff, right? And one was a electric grill, small electric household grill. Hulk missed that call, and by the time he got back to his agent, only the blender was available. The grill was taken, and the grill became the George Foreman grill. And so for me, like, I knew him for the grill before I really knew his whole back history. Like, I knew he was a boxer who had this product, but like I didn't know his history till I got a little bit older. By then, the George Foreman grills, everything had blown up, whatever. But that's like the one story that, like, every time I hear George Foreman, I think, man, like right place, right time, meant to be.
It was destined
to happen. Yeah. But definitely, we just wanted to pay respects, and to him, his family, and everybody else affected by his passing.
Absolutely.
All right, transitioning March Madness or non-madness in some cases. Let's start on the men's side.
Sure.
Because I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Usually the first day of March Madness is crazy.
Pandemonium.
Really wasn't. It's been quiet. I mean, for the most part, teams we expect to win are winning. There's been some smaller upsets, like what Drake was an 11 seed, beat whoever, but it didn't cause that like thing. There was one upset that you thought there might be a Cinderella story coming. We're gonna talk more about them.
Okay.
But McNeese,
right,
12 seed upset number 5 Clemson, and you thought, oh, this might be the
Davidson story. And
then they lost today to Purdue.
Yeah.
So like there really isn't. I mean, maybe I guess you could say I think they're the 10 seed Arkansas, but again, like, they're coached by Calipari.
Right.
So are they really? I mean, they upset the number 2 seeds in St. John's. That was a pretty big upset today. This just happened as we're recording on Saturday night. So like maybe a 10 seed Cinderella story, but it still just doesn't have the same impact. Like normally there's not only is there some kind of like Cinderella story, but there's usually some player or players who come out of nowhere.
Right. The standouts.
And you're like, who is this guy?
Right.
Like I remember it was the kid from, now I can't remember the school, Jack
Yes.
Jack, you remember who shot the three?
Yes.
Yeah, like
last year.
Like it was last year, right? And I remember they had black uniforms.
Yep.
So I
got commercials after that, all that.
Right. It's like, but you have these guys who come out of nowhere and like just really haven't had that. And the one that has, and we're gonna save that one, so don't go there because I know we both know where we're going.
Sure.
But before we go there, just like what has been your general reaction so far to the March Madness from the men's side? It's a snooze fest, bro. Yeah. Like except for the game today, we thought maybe the Houston game, who they play? Houston and Gonzaga. Gonzaga was actually pretty good. We thought that
may have gone there.
Went down to the wire.
Some mental mistakes. That was fun. It was a fun game.
But it also was not like same thing. Where are the buzzer beaters?
Right.
I don't think that we've had a single buzzer beater.
So, and that's why like it's been one of those like this has been the March year so far. Even as far as talent that comes out, right? We're all expecting Cooper Flag to come out and do his thing, right? He got hurt, unfortunately. But again, like, where are the other guys?
Right.
I remember the year when Murray State, like John Morant hit the map. Like, oh, who's this kid? Because he got overshadowed by Zion for so many years. He went to Murray State and like, oh, this kid can hoop. So that's kind of like this is lacking this year once again.
Yeah.
And like last year too, like it's still, I don't know the one kid Jack, but there was a whole movement. Remember, like everyone was like, oh, it's lacking because the women's side is taking over.
Right. We had that conversation a year ago,
right?
About the women's side and
Reese and Caitlin and all. And this year though, it's been very ratings been probably down this year though.
Yeah, I mean we don't know that. We'll have to dive into that. But while there may not be some players that have broken out, my goodness. Have we got one breakout star out of this damn tournament?
Yes, sir.
We got the McNeese team manager, Amir Khan. Bro. And they call him what?
Amir Aura Khan.
Amir Aura Khan. Bro. We watched the video before we recorded. I was like, yo, this guy.
Yo, bro, this guy would be a great karaoke singer. He knows the words word for word.
He bring the swag out to the team. Like
he's the ultimate hype man.
The ultimate hype man. And you could see how the players get around him. And then there's multiple videos out there of the team being interviewed and they're like, oh yeah, that's my guy. Right. He gets us ready, And it's this thing with the boombox didn't start in this tournament, right? Coming out with the boombox and the music before they hit the court. He's been doing it for years, but it just became escalated because they got into the tournament in the stage.
Right.
But more importantly, not only did he become a star, a viral sensation, he becomes the first team manager to ink an NIL name, image, and likeness deal. Multiple deals with, who was it? Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yes.
Tick Picks?
Yes.
Be careful how we say that.
Hey, don't get canceled now.
Don't get canceled. Tick Picks. Who else
was it? A donut?
No. Insomnia Cookies. And then he even got a customized suit,
bro,
with Aura on it.
Yes.
For the tournament from Under Armour,
bro.
I mean, my goodness. But I think at least the one thing that we watched said he inking over 100K.
Yeah, he making 100. 6 figs.
Man.
6 figs, bro. Hey, good for him, man.
Great for him.
I love it.
Like, I love the fact that the star of the tournament right now
is a team manager.
A brown kid team manager. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it.
Even like a no-name school, right?
Like from a small school.
Yeah.
And like he's just now become this personality that
I love it.
I hope it's not one of those 15-minute and flame out things, but like, no, shout out to him, man. Make that money.
Hey. 100%.
Take advantage of the moment.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, right? The moment's yours. Take advantage of, capitalize on it, and ride it as far as you can, bro.
No, for sure.
Like for sure. And I love it. I love the fact that he's opened the door. Like he's pioneered this new potential movement in NIL. Now you're looking past players into other avenues that support players and support teams and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I love it.
And stuff that he can do with the community because he said that
he is
he talked about that himself.
Right.
So. And by the way, I only said brown kid because you gave me the permission to do so.
You got the card. You got
as
the
a brown
card.
person.
Yeah, you got the card.
So, okay. Switching over from the men's side to the women's side. Women's side's been a little bit different now. Still hasn't been the crazy, like, buzzer beaters, whatever. Still, the women's side is a little bit more traditional too. Like the powerhouse teams that you expect to win,
right?
They win. Right.
Sure, yeah.
But I think what we're seeing, I can't recall this happening. Like This is crazy.
It is crazy.
So I'm gonna read these scores out because some of our listeners may not be paying attention. Maybe they don't watch women's basketball. The UConn women won 103-34.
Yeah.
That is a 69-point differential.
Damn.
They almost won 1 point shy from a 70-point spread. South Carolina women, another powerhouse, 108-48. Think about it, they're scoring 100. I don't think any men's team scored 100.
No, not even close.
No, wasn't there one Duke? Didn't Duke get close? They got close.
They were close.
It was in the 90s.
It's the only ones though.
It was in the 90s. Yeah. The Tennessee women's team, 101-66. The Notre Dame team, 106-54. Crazy spreads. UCLA, 84-46. Almost a 40-point spread.
Right.
The USC women, Juju. Shout out Juju. I like her. 71-25.
Ugh.
But better than that, last one I got for you, the Duke women. Thought the Duke Cooper Flag was good. 86-25.
Ugh.
That is a 61-point margin. What is happening? Is it just that those powerhouses are just that good and those other smaller programs are just that bad? How do you score 25 points in a game?
I think, and I could be wrong here. Are the powerhouses are probably just basically grabbing all the good players, which there may not be enough or as many for some of the lower ranked schools, right, to go and get.
But still, I don't recall it ever being so lopsided.
In the words of the great Ken.
Me? The great
Ken.
You're gonna wait. I'm great.
The great Ken.
Wow.
My brother. That's a mollywop. That's beyond a molly. That's an ass whooping. I'm sorry. Think about it this way. If a team beats you, you would have to go through 3 games to score the amount of points that they beat you by. At that point, do you get downgraded into a high school level team where you play against those tournaments? But clearly you don't belong on that stage or that level where you're losing by literally a 70, or no, what is it?
60,
triple, almost
anywhere
triple.
from 40 to
double the triple,
crazy
point spread. It's ridiculous. And then even as a player, what happens to your confidence?
Right.
What happens to just all the chain reaction to what happens after that? It's almost like you were there to help scrimmage this team to get ready for the next round.
Right.
So whatever, I'm sorry. I feel bad for the parents of the losing teams who come watch their kids get destroyed on a national stage, the public stage like that, because you just destroyed every chance possible of you even sniffing any sort of potential going forward if you had fathomed something like that for yourself. There's one that meme, the guy goes, ugh.
Yeah.
That's what I see happening here. Yeah. The other thing, although on the women's side, similar to men's side, I don't hear about the stars though. There's not a lot of that star talk. Any standouts maybe, and I could be missing maybe on some.
Yeah, I mean, there's still definitely
the Caitlyn and the Reese thing last year.
I mean, there's still definitely Juju and some others for sure.
But that who's this new person? That
but again, when your team is putting up another one that I missed, right? Number 1 Texas, 105-61. Ugh. I'm scrolling through right now. We can't see it, but I'm scrolling through looking at these. Oklahoma, 81-58, they won. North Carolina, 70-49.
Huge margins.
Oh, LSU, we didn't talk about them. 103-48. They got Flau'jae Johnson. Maryland beat Norfolk State, 82-69.
Right.
Iowa, 92-57.
Right.
It's Florida State beat George Mason, the local team, 94-59. I mean, my goodness, it's just
the margin has been wider, right?
Yep.
For the women's side.
Yep.
So again, is that something you want to watch, right? Is that something I really want to tune in for, to watch this? I think my travel team, 6th grade travel team for middle school, scores more points than 25 and 34 per game. That's where we're at right now.
I mean, but that is tough. And then there was another game where somebody had 10 points at the half, and we were looking at it, and I just lost it. I wanted to try to go back and find it.
This is the men's side.
Yeah, but anyway, either way, these large is so I guess the question is it fine for basketball because it's only the first round? And do we expect those less better teams, trying to be politically correct, less better teams get pushed out? Do we expect now the margins to decrease with the competition level? Like, because now you're going to have the, two teams that score 100 go against each other. We should see a little more competitiveness, hopefully.
I look at it, survival of the fittest, man, right? If you are the better team and you are now facing a better team, right? Mm-hmm. I expect a better competition, a better turnout, a better, more entertaining.
Well,
that may not always be the case, but the expectations for those wide gaps should be minimized.
Yeah. Well, as a casual, just March Madness, I love March Madness, but
hasn't been maddening.
Look, we got jobs, we got work. I can't sit and watch every game.
No, absolutely not.
But I will. Like, there's certain games that I'll be looking forward to seeing. Hopefully, they're all in prime time or weekends or whatever. But yeah, other than that, it's just not a whole lot of like. I'm not interested to watch a 40-point beatdown. That's not fun. Yeah, and even on the men's side, again, it's like. Okay, well, you're expected to win. You're going to win by 20.
Right. The higher seed won, and as the script was written, right? I guess.
Yep. Outside of what? I guess now John Calipari in Arkansas, okay, well, we have a lack of intrigue this year. So hopefully we'll at least get some good, like, Final Four out of this, some Elite Eight, some good games out of it. We will see. Probably be able to follow that up on next week's episode.
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and shift to the NBA. A couple of things to talk about, but the first... So you played the game Monopoly.
Absolutely.
It feels like some people in his world got Monopoly money.
Oh, yeah.
And that is for, now I'm blanking on his first name, Chisholm. I know his last name is Chisholm. The group that he led purchased the Boston Celtics. Think about it. The historic Boston Celtics franchise for $6.1 billion. It's like they're playing Monopoly and okay, I'm going to get Park Place, right? But I'm going to pay more for it than the person before me, right? So just to put it in context, this is the largest sale of a North American professional sports team. It beats the Josh Harris led Commanders, which was 6.05 billion. So just slightly over, right? It's like that when Jamar Chase said, I need to get paid $1 more than Justin Jefferson. Right. I feel like it's an ego thing with the billionaire, right?
I'm sure.
I can't pay the same. Like, it's got to be just slightly over, right? So we're gonna take it up to 6.1 billion,
sure,
just for GP.
I mean, history,
right? But in the context of the NBA, it blows it out of the water because the last NBA sale was for the Phoenix Suns, and that was about 4 billion. So, and again, this is the Boston Celtics.
It's the Celtics, though, right?
So
the Lakers, Celtics.
You're getting a lot,
right,
with the Boston Celtics. But the thing that I love, before I toss it over to you for your thoughts, was his quote when he said, basically, this purchase has been in progress for 50 years. Since I was 7 years old. And on his birthday, he went to a game in the old Boston Garden. And he said, since then, I bleed green. So good purchase, bad purchase. Could be pros and cons of having an owner who's a super fan.
Right.
Because do you make decisions based off of business? You make decisions based off of emotion and fandom? All of that in context. I want to hear your thoughts on the Celtics purchase for 6.1 billies.
Bro, this guy, you know that phrase, money to burn? That's what this is. He can make whatever the decision he wants, whether it's based on emotion, business.
Can I just stop you there though?
Sure.
You can, but like, do you want, let's just say all your decisions go bad. Do you want to be known as the person who destroyed that franchise?
And that's where I was going next.
Okay.
Right?
So
those decisions obviously come with consequences. But again, from the way it seems, he led a group. There's a group of people.
But he's the majority.
He's the majority owner, sure.
They always have an investment group.
But even with those decisions, right? There's advisors, there's counsel, there's boards.
Right.
So you don't go willy-nilly, Monopoly.
But at the end of the day,
you could, but just because you could, does that mean you should?
Right.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
It's a great rhetorical question.
Correct. I don't know where I'm going with that. So just because you can doesn't mean you should. right? And listen, the guy's living his dream, right? It's a dream. I want to own a team. Well, you own a team. Not only do you own a team, you own one of the most historic teams, most celebrated teams, yet also one of the most probably hated teams in the world, right? So the Celtics, the Lakers, these type of teams are like, how many can say they have a chance to live out their dream? He dreamt that dream at 7 years old.
Great.
And he accomplished his dream 50 years or however many years later. It's a 50, I'm assuming. So kudos to him, man. One thing though, as a player, if I hear that, like my owner bleeds green, so I'm going to know he's a player's type of owner, right? He wants to keep things as is. He's here to help build banners. He's not here to, how do I say this? But I'll just say it, to Sterlingize the team, right? But the Clippers saga.
Wow.
So when I hear that, I'm like, all right, he got our back. Right, he wants to build what we already built. We're in a great place already. That Celtics team currently is always going to be in that playoff race, that finals run, because they've reached the promised land. He's going to come in and try to keep that flow going. Obviously, moving pieces here and there, whatever, like things happen. But he's not going to come and just completely shake this thing up. Oh, I'm the new sheriff in town and I'm going to... Nah, I want to keep this going. So I'm happy to hear that. I hope he keeps the franchise, historic, and I'm not going to say more banners, but I'm not a Celtic fan in that way. But I am going to say, like, don't stop a good thing where it's like, don't stop a good thing from happening, right? Let it ride fully till the wheels fall off. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like Jerry Krause, right? The whole Bulls thing. Last Dance. They wanted to stay longer, but he's the one who kind of pulled the plug on it. Don't come and pull. Don't be Jerry Krause. Don't do that.
All I know is that if I have about 20 more years to get some Billies behind me, so if I have that much Monopoly money, I'm
ATL?
Without a doubt going to buy the Falcons.
Oh, Falcons. Okay, not ATL.
Oh yes,
not the Hawks?
I mean it's Falcons first.
Okay.
So football is always
got it.
Football is always first. So
got it. Don't you want to save Trey from moving? If he's gonna play 20
Trey,
more years.
Yeah, it sounds like Trey might be retired by then. Tage might be on the team though. So
we'll see.
And then I'll buy it and it'd be great.
Hey.
Okay, so staying with Boston, there was a record that was broken recently, and basically, my question is gonna be: so the record was Peyton Pritchard broke the record for most threes by a bench player. So
for a single season.
In a single season. Yep. So basically, like, this pretty much locks up Sixth Man of the Year for him, correct? Like, there's no way he doesn't win.
I would assume it does. And this also goes to how deep this team is, right? Having a player
scary.
Like that. Yeah. So like, again, the owner, like, you have a great thing happening here. Just keep it going. And again, congratulations to Peyton Pritchard, right? Probably a guy you look at and think, oh, probably a deeper deep bench player.
Actually, he should be a starter on most other teams.
Correct. Agreed. Right. But on this squad, he's probably sixth man, seventh man, who knows? But not a record that I saw coming. So congratulations to him, man. The hard work he puts in. Like, I'm actually a fan of him, especially when I saw like how he does his off-season workouts and how he brings people on and trains. Like, much respect to him.
Yeah, he's an RBA.
Oh, he is absolutely.
He's an RBA. He's the definition of real ballers adjust.
Absolutely.
We know his story.
Yes, for sure.
Oh, speaking of records, I'm going to shift to a guy who usually breaks records, but this time is breaking parts of his body, kind of. Not breaking, but I want to talk a little bit real quick about your boy Steph Curry's injury and the fact that he's going to be out for a few weeks.
Yeah, man.
They are currently 6th in the West, and I think they just started had their first game tonight. And it's on a road trip lost to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we quickly watched the ending of that earlier. Are they going to be able to stay in contention depending on how long Steph's out? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's the Warriors, man. That's a championship caliber. They have that in their pedigree. Like, they have that in their, in their core. So they know what it takes to at least be in the running. And what do we always say? You only got to come in 10th.
You only got to come in 10th.
Once you're in 10th,
you got a shot.
We're good.
You got a shot.
Just got an extra game to play, maybe 2, but we're in. So I think Steph will be back by then. Listen, we're good. I'm not worried.
Not worried at all about this?
Nah.
I think they should be a little worried. Right? They're still trying to integrate Jimmy in and get that. You got to get that chemistry. Like, this is a bad time to be out, because this is the time when teams, especially if you want to make a deep run in the playoffs, like March into April, beginning April, we're on the last, stretch of like 15 or so games. Like, now's the time you want to be kind of gelling and getting that momentum going into the playoffs, not having your best player sitting on the bench. And then when he comes back, not only does he have to come back from it and get back into the routine, but still has to work on the chemistry of the new player. So
Listen,
I think it might hurt them a little bit.
I'm gonna say this,
but it is Steph.
This is where we forget, because our memory doesn't go back that far because it's not fresh. You remember when Steph was out a couple years ago and he came back and he said, "I'm back." He doesn't need that. What you're talking about? He comes back and he's back.
He just comes back and he's back.
Correct. So I'm not even worried about it.
Okay. There's another team that we definitely, apparently everybody needs to be worried about. And it's so funny because, in all the time we've been talking sports, you used to always say, Houston, we have a problem.
I've been saying it for a long time.
There were some dark days in Houston, but Houston, we no longer have a problem.
No, we don't.
Because as we were looking for things for this episode, like one of the things I was looking at, particularly because I saw like LeBron came back, whatever. There was the whole thing like Bronny came in for a game, filled in, actually had a good game, 17 points, whatever. Had Stephen A doing a little moonwalking on his previous comments. But in there and trying to see kind of how the Lakers have been doing since then and where they were in the standings, which they're up to 3, which I was like, that's good. Thank you, Luka. The Luka effect.
Yeah.
I mean, they were already doing well, but like they're doing better, of course. I think they're 12-7 since they've got him. But I was like, who is this team in number 2? 9-game win streak.
Bro.
9-1 in their last 10. Behind OKC, the Houston freaking Rockets, bro.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
I was like, what?
I love it.
I did not think they were the 2 seed. I just have not been looking at that standings. That's crazy. 9-game win streak.
I mean, if you asked me at the beginning of the season who I think would be the 2 seed at this point, but like, not Houston.
No, you'd pick Denver. You'd be picking some other team, but
Denver, Minnesota, some other team to be there. So like, I'm super excited and happy to see Houston, especially like how young that core is, with the exception of Fred VanVleet, and this could be the Fred VanVleet effect and Dylan Brooks. Or the Dylan Brooks effect, possibly.
But yeah, they got some vets with some young guys.
But that's Jalen Green, man. This man has
Segura too. Segura is a monster.
Yes, him too.
Yeah,
bro. So that team is like, I think low key.
Thompson.
Yes. Oh, Asar. Is it Amen or Asar? One of the brothers, right?
Yeah.
I think low key, like this team was like underlooked, like they were underestimated, and they came in and said, "Hold on a second, right? Pump the brakes, bro. Like we're here too, and we're no longer we are a problem. No longer no longer a problem.
Like we are the problem.
We are the problem." And I love it, man. And I used to love those old school like James Harden matches with the Dubs, and so I hope they get to that level where they're making some noise now in the playoffs.
So that was going to be my question. Do you think that they can make a run in the playoffs?
I think if like you said, it's at this stage in the game, like where you're getting into playoffs, if you're riding this wave and this momentum, you possibly can, especially in the beginning, right? That's kind of where you start making your name. Like, yeah, we're not expecting them to make the conference finals for sure, right? But we are expecting them to get out of at least make the first round and possibly even get out of it, depending on who they seed up against. And if they're number 2, who they're going to be playing
seeding
against?
Up against the 7th seed, right? Yeah.
Right. Unless it's the Warriors.
But they could be against like the Dubs or Minnesota.
Right. Which would be a great match to watch.
Fun matchups.
That'd be awesome.
So I think that they can make a run because
how deep?
So think about this, right? Remember, they got a little taste of it last year, right? They got a little taste of it last year, and now it's like, okay, so your young guys got a little taste of what playoff basketball is like. And not only do you have the vets, but you got young legs.
Yep,
been a long season. I think that they could make a run.
There's one team I see them stopping up against.
I don't know that they can get out of a second round.
Right.
Because they're going to be up against a Lakers or Denver.
Correct. OKC,
they can't get later. OKC because if they stay 1-2,
right.
The OKC would only be the final conference finals.
Like that's why I feel like they're not primed for that stage yet. But these building experiences building, like, it's going to be wonderful for them. So I'm excited, man. I hope they.
We'll see.
I hope they're the Cinderella story of the.
But can you imagine that they upset Denver, go to the
like when Minnesota
finals?
did?
I'm just saying.
I would love it.
It's possible.
If that happens, I'm always for the underdog. I'm gonna go for them.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and shift all the way out of the NBA.
Okay.
and let's take one quick little detour to the NHL. Not a topic that we talk about often, but we got to have the Ovechkin track.
Absolutely.
Not only because he's local here to the area, but just history. We talked about it a couple episodes ago. He has the opportunity to break Gretzky's all-time scoring goals record of 895. He is at, as of today, because he scored, I think in today's game, 888 of the 895. The question is, will he or won't he do it? 13 games left.
So I don't know what his goals per game ratio is.
It's almost, I think he's almost at like a goal a game.
If that's the case, then
pretty close,
right? Then he does do it, and he beats it.
Or maybe I might be overvaluating that.
He may reach really close, but if he doesn't retire, then he's gonna do it next season, right?
So the articles say if he continues at his current pace, he will break it this season.
That's awesome.
And his teammates are hoping he breaks it with time to spare.
Hey, I'm sure his teammates are looking for him in those situations to be able to break it.
Well, and today his goal helped them to clinch the playoff spot. So
that's the thing, right? The great ones don't have to go seeking it out.
It just happens.
They create their own way, right? And they're clutch. They're RBA in the moment.
Hold on. Say. Can you say that again? Because that was a bar.
That was a bar. They create their own way.
No. The great ones.
The great ones, right?
You said
have to rewind that.
You said we have to. The great ones don't have to go seek it out.
Right. The great ones don't have to seek it out, right? They create their own way. It's almost like the way everything happens, it comes to them because they put so much into the game, right? That moment presents itself and it just works out the way it does. With all the great ones, right? Whether it's Steph, MJ, Bron, football greats, right? Brady, Brady.
No, I mean, he's considered the great.
Yeah. So the moment just works out for you. So I think history will probably side with him, and he may become a historical figure in one of those Mount Rush, if not already.
Well, I think he already is.
Right.
But this would just put him in a different.
Accolade.
It would be a different stratosphere.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Because
he could sit at the lunch table now with
Wayne.
He
can sit at the lunch table, but like nobody in the history is gonna remember that you got close.
Agreed.
And like now is one of those times where you are so close. It's like the conversation we had about Saquon. Right before the season was over, like
rushing yards.
You have the chance to do this historic thing, right? Yeah, people are going to remember that you had 2,000 yards, but it's going to be one of those. Yeah, but he could have had.
Right.
He could have broken the record, and I just feel like if you're in a position to get that, and that's a single season thing, right?
Right.
So that's something like, okay, I got to try again. This is career goals.
Yeah.
Like you have the chance to be the all-time leading scorer. It's like LeBron, right? You have the chance to be the all-time leading scorer of your league in the history of your league. If you got a chance to go for it, you have to go for it.
But I also look at it this way, right? Like I think the single season one is more impressive from the standpoint of I have this window to accomplish this versus a career one. If I don't retire, I'll get it next year, right? It's that window what makes the pressure. I have to do it in this amount of time is more like.
But still, I'm just saying, like you still gotta like.
No, agreed. It's a remarkable feat.
Yeah, you still gotta go.
How many players can say they're close to doing something like that? For sure.
No, you definitely got to go for it. So, because to even have the longevity to do it, just like Bron.
Yeah, absolutely.
To have the longevity, it's not easy to just say I'll play another year because
hockey's a physical sport.
Look, but even in the NBA, right? You can't like, I'll just play another year. Well, when NBA players over 20 years in the league don't average over 20 points.
Agreed.
So in order to actually get there, you'd have to play, and you're not, and your teams are not going to pick you up. Right. You're not going to have the same athleticism. Like Bron is just a different specimen.
Right.
And that's why it's like, you got to continue to go for that because you're still averaging 25, 8 and 7. Like at 22 years in the league and same thing, right? If you've got the longevity to be able to take this kind of record,
absolutely,
you got to take it versus I have multiple windows in my prime to try to hit 2,000 yards rushing. But and I think it all kind of goes like there's pros and cons. And
I'll say this though, right? If there's a moment where you can achieve greatness, go get it. Go get that. Go achieve it.
He just dropped the mic on me, y'all.
It's another bar right there.
Dropped another bar. Well, let's go ahead and we'll check back next week and see if
he does it.
If he does it. Or if he gets closer, we'll just continue to track it. All right. On to the gridiron. Some interesting stuff happening around the NFL. You know, it's that part of the offseason we're getting into. We have free agency, and then we're going to get into the draft upcoming. That's when usually everything kind of like falls off until July. So soon we're going to have very little NFL to talk about. But for now, lots of stuff still going on. The first thing I want to talk about are proposed rule changes. And I want to get it's a rule changes deep or not that deep segment, a real short one, because I want to find out your take, whether it's deep or not that deep on them. The teams are even asking for these rules to be changed. And two in particular that I want to talk about. The first one, the Green Bay Packers have proposed to ban the quote tush push, or some people call it the brotherly shove.
Okay.
Because it's Philly. The actual rule itself proposal was to prohibit an offensive player from pushing a teammate who is lined up directly behind the snapper and receives the snap immediately at the snap. So basically they want to ban the tush push. It's so effective that they want to ban it. Deep or not that deep?
I think it's deep.
Deep in the sense of what?
If they change the rule, that's deep. I think either way, like that specific ability to be able to do that changes like strategies, changes the outcomes of games, changes like histories and legacies and records. But I think it's not deep, it's very deep. So I don't know how they're going to side with that, but if you take that away, then how many records prior to, right, get an asterisk, or how many opportunities are taken away now from future teams being able to achieve some of those feats or be on the opposite side of history now based on just that single rule? That's a very impactful rule. That's just my take on it. I'm not in favor of it.
So I'm so glad you said it, because I was going to say, you're the decision maker. Are you approving the rule or not?
No, I'm nixing that rule. Watching Philly throughout the years, like that's almost like their bread and butter at goal line stands, like those type of like 4th and 1 or at the goal line to get that touchdown. Super Bowl, you saw it in multiple Super Bowls. Like their offensive line is almost like designed. They're like a film study team for the tush push at the goal line. So like that's the formula I want to follow, is the brotherly shove. If I'm trying to build something like that around my team, for my team.
I took a different stance.
Sure.
Well, similar but different. To me, it was not that deep because it shouldn't get approved.
Okay.
And to me, it's weak. It's so non-RBA. It's so the idea of real ballers adjusting, right? Like, and just look, first of all, the quarterback sneak has always been in the playbook for every team. It's in Madden. Right. Like it's in video games too, right? Like the quarterback sneak has always been a thing for as long as I can remember. Every team has the ability to run this play. It's a legal play as of now. The legal play. Problem is that Philly does it better than everybody else. And I'm not a Philly fan, and I hated when they ran it against us. But at the same time, why would I punish them for being better at running a play than everybody else? To the point where I would accept somebody banning it. No, put a defense out there and figure out how to stop it. That's the RBA piece of it for me, where I'm just like, are y'all really coming out here with this weak proposal? I'm so glad it was not my team that proposed this, because I would have went in on my team if this was my team. I would be embarrassed.
So let me ask you.
No, hold on. I just want to make sure, because I want to get this clip clearly with no interjections. Okay?
Sure,
all right. Let's get some complete silence. I'm gonna look right in the camera. Okay. I would be embarrassed right now if I were a Green Bay Packers fan that my team had the audacity to put forward a proposal to stop a team from running this play because nobody else can stop it and we don't like it. That's bullshit.
So should we call them the Green Bay Cupcakes?
Green Bay Cupcakes, that's fine.
So that's my question: is what have other teams said? Like, who's on this side of?
We don't know. They go to the league meetings and then they are able to propose. Like teams are able to propose.
I want to see like a reaction. Like, what are other teams are?
I would love it too. And maybe my team would be in favor of that, and I would tell them that they be the Atlanta Cupcakes too. Like, because it's not just learn how to stop it.
So that was the whole thing, right? This player, you're so good and they're so strong. I don't know how to like,
or don't let them get into a
situation where they do
4th and 1 or 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
If you stop them on 1st, 2nd, 3rd down and give them more than
1 or 2 yards.
1 or 2 yards.
That's one option.
I mean, I'm just saying, but I don't think banning the play is the
I mean, it's like not, I'm not going to say it's the same, but like Steph, right? He opened up the whole deep range shooting.
Yep.
Oh no, take the deep range shooting away. He can't shoot from beyond 35 feet anymore.
Yep.
He has to shoot between 30 and 35 in that little window.
Yeah, we're not going to change it for that.
We're not doing that.
All right. Next one, deep or not that deep, real quick. Detroit is proposing playoff seeding change, right? So that it's based off of record and not division winners. So basically, they're coming at the NFC South for having the 4th seed with a 9-win team versus you have a wild card team that has 10 or 11 wins, right? So they want it more like the NBA. NBA did this,
They want it,
right?
Yeah.
Where it used to be the top 4 seeds were your division winners.
Right.
NBA did it effectively. So deep or not that deep. And do you agree?
So I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Like, I don't understand how the NFL does divisions and kind of like AFC, NFC, South, West, East. I don't fully understand how they put those together. Whereas NBA is East, West, right? We split down the middle and we're doing it that way. So I'm not a fully knowledgeable as you may be.
Right. But at the end of the day, it's the same. There's still 4 divisions and 3 wild card teams.
I think that can also become very deep in the sense that now you're playing somebody else at the end of the day. You're not playing the same division. It doesn't matter where you are in your division. It matters what you're on the whole East or West Coast or hemisphere of the nation. So it could impact who you play, when you play, how you play, where you play. The good thing, I guess, will be there may be similar to NBA, right? Now it's almost like you're not worried about just these 3 other teams. I'm worried about everyone. So maybe more competition. But I don't know. I have to kind of see it play out. I'm not fully probably the best person to ask for this question.
No. Well, so I mean, for me, I think that this one is tougher because I can understand it where, like, you know, the NFC North, right? They had Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit that all had 10 plus wins, right? And then you have the NFC South where you had, you had the Bucks basically just win the division, just squeak in. So it's kind of like, do you want to reward the Bucks for not winning enough games by letting them have the 4 seed in a home playoff game? But also too, how do you ensure that you don't have an entire division not represented in the playoffs? Because you could run into a scenario where
the NFC least.
Well, that's the NFC South right now.
Okay.
But like, no, legitimately, you could run into a scenario where there's only 3 wild card spots. So your top 7 seeds could all be from the other 3 divisions.
Good point.
And then you have an entire division not represented. So how do you, because sometimes like those, you could be in a tough division, right? Where you guys are battling each other, right? And that's part of the reason why every team might be 9 wins, right? And you could have 3 of the 4 teams are like good, tough teams, but 2 other divisions had like cupcake schedules, and they all have like 2 or 3, 11, 10 plus win teams, whatever. And then you get it. So like, I think there's a balance between ensuring that all your divisions are represented, but also to like, I think that all the division winners should get in, but you're not guaranteed a home game. It should be based on your record then for who gets the home versus away. So like, for example, if you're Tampa and you got in with 9 wins, but you're playing Detroit, who has 11 wins, that game should be in Detroit.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, they earned it.
They earned it. Even though you might be the 4 seed, whatever, but because they have a better record than you, boom, you should, in my opinion, like, you don't reward them with the home game. You let them get in because they won their division. Because otherwise, if a division winner potentially doesn't get in, then what's the point in the divisions?
So that's my question: is if a division doesn't get represented, whose fault is that?
But then it brings up the question: then what's the point of divisions? Because
that was my next.
Your whole thing is, if you win your division, you could at least get in, right? Why have a division if it means nothing? If it means nothing to win it?
But like you said, there are some divisions that are tougher than others.
Right.
So now, what if I say, oh no, I want to be reallocated to a different division?
Well, no, that's not going to happen. But but I'm just saying, like, but in general, though, there has to be there has to be an incentive to win the division.
Sure.
Otherwise, there's no point in having
and home field will be
right. And so, no, getting into the playoffs
And then, right.
That would be your, okay, I need to win so that I can get in. But I understand that once I get in, I may not get a home game.
Well, I'll be measured differently. There'll be different metrics.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that's where I would change the rule. I would say every division winner gets in, but we reseed based on record once the playoffs start.
So to answer your question, this was deep. Basically.
It is deep to me.
Yeah, it's deep.
And so another deep or not that deep, the Netflix series has returned for this summer. They're bringing back Quarterback Part 2, which, by the way, D was like, why are they not doing running backs? Because they did quarterback, then receiver.
Right.
And he was like, why didn't you do running back? I want to see Bijan on there. I was like, they got to have the interest from the players to be able to record them all season. And so clearly they found some quarterbacks.
Shit, Saquon would have been a good one.
And they did find some quarterbacks. So coming in so just as a refresher, season 1 was Patrick Mahomes. It was Kirk Cousins when he was in Minnesota. And it was Marcus Mariota. And it was like the tale of different quarterbacks, right? It was your new GOAT. It was the veteran fighting to get in the playoffs or whatever. And then it was like the journeyman guy, right? So season 2, this season, has Joey B from Cincinnati. That's going to be fun. Jared Goff from the Lions.
Detroit.
That's going to be fun.
Yep.
And Kirk Cousins from the Falcons. And
that's gonna be fun.
So that's why I would say deep or not that deep. And I'm gonna answer it for you because, bruh, dude, that's gonna be get your popcorn ready. How the season played out.
Oh my God, yes.
And we're gonna get a little glimpse behind the scenes and exactly how that played out with him playing. No, that first game not doing well at all. And then all of a sudden he was great for like 4 games, had a 500-yard passing game. We beat Tampa twice, who ended up winning our division. Then went through this like 6-game stretch where we were terrible. And apparently then it came out after the season that he was injured, didn't tell anybody. And right. So we'll find out a little bit, hopefully. I mean, and then the transition of him getting benched for the Rook.
That face right there. Bro, here's what I'll say.
Get your popcorn ready.
The WWE script writers did it again.
Bro,
they did it again. I love it. I love it, bro. Kirk Cousins, man, a back-to-back appearance in 2 different uniforms. There was the wide receiver in between. There was a wide receiver in between. But for quarterback, right? Like, bro. And the drama that we're going to get behind the scenes, man. Bro, this has WWE written all over it.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to watch it.
Wow.
But coupled with that is also anxiety of like, I really hope that our front office doesn't look like a complete disaster after this airs.
Absolutely. He may either become the hero after this
or the villain.
And we shall see what happens. But you know, another name there are 2 names that I would want to see a quarterback version of. Lamar Jackson.
Oh yeah.
And Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Like those 2 guys I want to see. I hope they're upcoming some point. Yeah. But I do agree with D. Like this would have been a great year to do a Saquon for running backs.
Saquon, Bijan,
Mixon, maybe.
Josh Jacobs.
Yes.
In Green Bay, Derrick Henry.
King Henry. Boom.
That would have been.
And that would have been great with you could have done a Lamar, but probably not the same season.
Yeah. No, that would have been dope. But nonetheless, so we will be tuned in with our popcorn ready this summer to watch. I know D's like chomping at the bits. All right, and last up,
I can see you coming here and doing some recaps for us real quick. Either really angry or really happy.
I might have to do a series, like a separate series.
Sure,
I'll just do a weekly. It'll just be me reacting to. I'm gonna do it.
All right, let's do it.
It'll just be quick reactions every week.
Got it.
All right, lock it in, Antonio. All right, real quick, we gotta run through these fast. NFL free agency, deep or not that deep. Jameis Winston finally gets a job to your New York Giants. Is deep.
Congrats.
Are you saying anything other than deep? He gets to go be a starter. He gets to go eat some W's.
That's what I said.
He gets to go eat some W's, bro. So look, Jameis came in Tampa Bay. He also played in New Orleans. He was an enemy for a long time. But there's just something about Jameis you can't hate. Like there's just something about him. The way he talks about the game, his he's joyous energy.
He's a consummate teammate.
And so I was pulling for him, and the fact that he goes and he gets a chance to be a starter.
Yeah.
And yes, the Giants were bad, whatever. you got weapons still. You got neighbors.
Yeah, you got neighbors.
Do you get to throw to?
Yeah.
Like, and you still get a good system with Dayball. I'm very happy for him. Very, very deep.
Unless Shador gets there.
But again, that'll be a bridge.
Right.
So he'll still get a chance to start. Yeah. Most likely. Aaron Rodgers, maybe to the Steelers. It's not a done deal yet, but there's really not a whole lot of options left either. Right. He did spend most of the day yesterday at the Steelers facility. Apparently, it was a great visit. They're going to be in touch. Do you think Aaron Rodgers would be a good fit with the Steelers, deep or not that deep?
I think any place that gives him a job will be a good fit for him.
But what about for them? You got George Pickens, DK Metcalf.
Who's their quarterback right now?
They don't have one.
Because that's the question we posed last episode was, who's going to throw to these guys?
Yeah, we don't have one right now.
Well, there you go. You found somebody who potentially could throw to them.
So was last season because
is Kirk available?
I mean, for the right price. But again, last season he had Devontae and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Was it the Jets or was it Aaron? Right.
Well, if he goes, then we'll find out.
Deep or not that deep?
Could be deep.
Could be deep. Okay. And then the last one I want to go to, because remember we talked about Philly and they were losing people, and especially when they lost Josh Sweat to Arizona and he had killed it in the Super Bowl. You were like, what are they doing? Yeah. Right? Well, they replaced him with another great pass rusher, Azeez Ojulari, going to Philly from the New York Giants. Another good player.
That's what we do.
Going from the Giants to the division rivals. What is your GM doing, bro?
Told you it was prescription planning.
Prescription.
I already told you, bro. Here's what we do. We build and then we give.
So in a couple years, when AJ Brown moves out, Neighbors is coming over.
There you go.
All right, good. Speaking of wide receivers, we talked a little bit last episode about the potential for the Bengals duo to get paid. Well, it's like they heard us talking, and like I think it was like the next day, or maybe within 2 days.
Right.
It was very quickly after we recorded that episode. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both got locked up at the same time. Jamar Chase got a 4-year, $161 million extension. He got a little more than $1 more than Jay Jettis.
Right.
And then T. Higgins got a 4-year, $115 million. So slightly under that. My goodness. So first, real quick, Bengals. I'm sure you're going to say it's deep for them.
It's deep. My pockets are deep.
Pockets are deep.
For both parties. One to give, one to take.
Absolutely.
Back up the Brinks truckers, right? Is that what they say?
Well, that's what they did.
Yeah.
I'm still, though, trying to figure out and understand what's going to happen defensively. Because, again, they had the same group last year and didn't make the playoffs because their defense couldn't stop anybody. And now that they backed up the Brinks trucks, do they have enough money to get any other remaining impactful players, or maybe they'll draft?
Well, they can always reach out to the Giants. So, I mean,
no, the Giants only like to let players go to the Eagles,
the neighboring guys.
Exactly.
The division rivals
that are right across the state border.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Just to put a button on the the Jamar Chase thing, right? So the 2019 LSU championship team, right? 4 players from that team have got extensions in the last year.
Wow.
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Jay Jettis, and then Derek Stingley also got an extension this week, like $90 million, 3-year, $90 million or something. In total, for these 4 players from this championship team, $666 million worth of contracts.
Wow.
For 4 players.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
It is. If I'm LSU, where's my check?
No, they already got their money from when they were there. That was pre-NIL too.
Yeah.
So they were really making money off those boys.
Think about future upcoming. Right?
So they're definitely not the best college team of all time. But that's still going to go to in my opinion, the Miami Hurricanes team that had they had 10 Hall of Famers on there. But this team's got to be at the lunch table. I would, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. In the same cafeteria, same section.
In the same cafeteria.
Same section.
Sarah, I'm done with
same wing.
All right, last one. Deep or not that deep. Lamar Jackson. He's not a free agent.
Okay.
But he has, this one's a complete surprise to you. He will be appearing on an episode of Power. I think it's Power Book 3. You've heard of the Power series? It was 50 Cent. Yeah. So he's taking his personality and trying out the acting chops.
Okay.
In the Power thing, and the picture's funny. Like he I was like, yeah, like this might be good. So Deep or not that deep? I think it's deep. I think it might be good.
So this is not new to me. I do know about this.
Oh.
I did see this.
Oh.
But
I was trying to
nice
surprise
try.
you.
Nice try.
I tried.
And when I saw it, I was like, well, another athlete testing out his on-screen appearance.
I think it's great.
And I'm always for it, right? Anything that helps you extend your power, name, likeness, image beyond your sport, I'm with it all the way, 100%. And I think depending on what character he plays, how he delivers it, will then determine, how that plays out for him.
So we're going to have to watch it and give him a review.
But he has his IMDb credits now, and then he can take those skills that he can take his talents to other projects.
I mean, look, we're going to have to watch it and give him a review.
But you know what? For a first-timer to get onto that with 50?
Well, so he put it out there, like, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but he's like, man, I need to get myself on Power. And then, of course, 50 being 50, like, if anybody can make it happen.
That's where we go.
And you got the right star
the executive
power.
Producer, man.
I mean, and Lamar is the right star power. Plus, he's got that, like, he's in Baltimore, the city.
Yes, sir.
Even though Power is in New York, but it's still kind of that same kind of
East Coast,
grit
man.
and grind. Yeah.
It's only 3 hours.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm excited to see. I'm actually really excited to watch.
I hope he nails it out of the park.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And then cap off the episode, and how we're going to start capping these episodes off in the future with every episode. With our new segment, I said down in the RBA rundown that we were going to introduce a new segment, and it's something we're going to start doing every episode. Is going to be our RBA aura of the week, meaning who gave off, what moment, person, whatever, gave off the RBA aura that particular week. That's what the kids say these days, but also just to get that like embodiment of what real ballers adjusting means. That tough-mindedness, that ability to overcome and achieve and just deal with shit and be able to come out better on the other side.
Absolutely.
And so with that, but also we'll have some fun with them too.
Absolutely.
So it'll be some serious, some fun, right?
It's a moment, it's a person. It's
just going to be an experience.
Yes.
There you go. So our inaugural RBA aura, drum roll please,
is Mr. James Harden.
What?
And I'll tell you why. Bro, so James Harden, what do we in recent times known him for? In his general basketball performances throughout, with the Clippers. He comes in, he does it. He's not the same James Harden that was in Houston, right? He's kind of like, we almost call him washed. He's slowed down, a little bit maybe semi-washed. Not as good as he used to be.
He's definitely not been in the conversation.
He's not
in the conversation of the top players in the league anymore.
So what happened was, because of this, perception of him, a certain gentleman by the name of Malik Beasley got onto a podcast with some YouTube influencer and put on record that the easiest person to guard in the league is James Harden. James apparently got wind of this. He heard it. Got a little is that it? Okay. You know how kind of
Yeah.
He said, all right. So the next meeting that they had, when the Clippers met Detroit, James said, you know what? I'm just going to politely drop 50.
Politely?
I'm going to drop 50, right? What, 50, 14, 24 field goals, 6 for 13 from 3, 16, 20 from free throw. Bro, that's an epic James Harden.
It's a throwback.
It's a throwback. Because why? Because he got mad. And he said, oh, I'm going to show you what RBA is. And he dove into his RBA aura bag. He pulled it out. He said, and then he got interviewed by that same YouTube the influencer during, like, I think they were walking through somewhere and they ran into each other, whatever. And James briefly mentioned it. I heard about it. I dropped 50 on him. He was talking shit. I dropped 50 on him. So please do keep talking to James, because I want to keep seeing this. And that's RBA to me, right? Like, you hear somebody and, is that what it is? I bet.
Oh no, I love that kind of petty.
Right?
The kind of petty where it's like, I don't have to talk to you.
Correct. And in the post-game interview, he didn't even say anything about it.
Yep.
He's casually said it, walking through with the same guy. Oh, he was talking. I heard him talking shit. Drop 50 on. Mic drop. Walked away.
That's aura. That's RBA.
That's RBA aura. I think that was the prime first inauguration.
Okay. Aura. All right.
So James, man, respect to you, my man. Like, that's how you respond to your competitor.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Mr. Harden.
Yes, sir.
Getting the inaugural RBA aura. And with that, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you made it through the whole episode.
Yes, sir.
We will be back at it each and every week here at the Think RBA podcast. where real ballers adjust.
Hey, we appreciate the RBA fam.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace.